So let's get into the little tiny bits here. First thing I want to talk about is Donald Trump lost his rape case here. What exactly is this all about? Well, it really wasn't a rape case, obviously. It was a defamation case against E. Jean Carroll. And he lost, and now he has to pay E. Jean Carroll $5 million. Not going to get into this too much because I'm sure you've heard all about this, and frankly, to be honest, I'm a little tired of Trump news. I kind of was hoping that after Trump lost, he would just go away. After he lost the election and after like January 6th, and it's like, okay, you tried to take over, it didn't work, that kind of thing. Was kind of hoping he would just do what other ex-presidents do and just go off and ride off into the sunset, maybe publish a memoir. Kind of hoping he would just go do that and leave us all alone. And it's like, nope. We end up having to hear about him every single goddamn day. And I think we will be hearing about him every single damn day pretty much until the day he dies. I think that's what's going to happen. I think he's going to be in the news every day. Some dumbass fucking thing Trump did again and again and again. So what's the story here? Trump was held liable for sexual assault. They did not find him liable for rape, which is kind of ridiculous because that's what the entire thing was all about. If you read the account from E. Jean Carroll, it's pretty damn obvious that Trump raped her. Of course, they weren't able to prove that. Now remember that this was a civil case. This was not a criminal case. The statute of limitations ran out a long time ago because this was something that happened in the 1980s. I think it was 1989 is when she said this happened. I could be wrong there. It could have been the early 90s. I can say that it happened because they proved it in court. They proved he was liable for it. So that's essentially like, yeah, it happened. Right? So you don't have to say allegedly anymore. Trump did it. Here's the thing about this. So he has to pay her $5 million now. Is it going to change anybody's mind? I mean, I would be more emotionally invested in this story if Trump was facing jail time for it, but he's not. What it really means is that he's basically getting away with it. What it really means is that if you have $5 million and you're rich, you can get away with anything, including up to, raping somebody. And what are they going to do? Right? That's what this really means. Let me just merge that down there. There we go. That's what this really means. It really means that he committed this horrendous crime, but because he's rich and he's an ex-president, because he's Trump, he gets to get away with it by just spending some money. And you go, yeah, $5 million is nothing to sneeze at, but supposedly Trump is supposed to be a billionaire, isn't he? I mean, if he's a billionaire, if he really is a billionaire, and not, like he claims and stuff, then $5 million ain't shit to him. So he basically just got away with it scot-free. And is anybody going to change their mind over this when the election comes next year? Are people going to be like, hey, I'm not voting for Trump because he was found guilty of sexual assault? Hell no. Hell no. This will change zero people's minds. Everyone who wasn't going to vote for him will not vote for him. Everyone who was going to vote for him will vote for him. I would be very surprised if any Trump supporter out there at all changes their minds over this. If you just look at all the crap that this guy got away with already, all the stupid shit that he does on a daily fucking basis, all the goddamn crimes that he's accused of, stealing top secret documents, I mean, that one, they have him dead to rights on that. Why is Trump not in jail for that shit? I mean, how long does it take to investigate, all right? You have photos of the shit at his house. You know that he fucking did it. You have video of him taking the boxes out of the fucking White House for the first place. Why is he not in jail for that? I mean, that's just a small example of all the crap that Trump has gotten away with. So is this going to change anything? No. It just makes him look bad. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe there might be some people out there, a small percentage of Trump supporters who decide that this is the last straw. But I highly fucking doubt it. I mean, if you go on Twitter and stuff like that, if you go on Twitter and everything and you look at what all the chuds are tweeting, it's just the same story over and over again. It's fake news. That's what they say. Oh, this is fake news. Oh, why would Donald Trump, he's not liable for rape, but how come he has to pay her $5 million? Blah, 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 blah. It's all the same bullshit story over and over again. This man literally could take a newborn baby, throw it, dash it to the street, and run it over with a tractor on live TV, and nobody would bat an eye. There would still be Trump supporters who would say that it was fake, that it was fake news, that it was a deep fake, it was a body double, whatever. They'll make whatever goddamn excuse they have to make. So, yeah. Trump's getting away with it. That's bullshit. Fuck Donald Trump. I'm glad he lost $5 million. The bright side of this is that there may be another one because there was also another defamation case that was filed while Donald Trump was president, which is going through, and you go, well, how come this one is different than the other one? So for this particular one, what happened was that Bill Barr tried to substitute the Department of Defense instead of Donald Trump, because whenever you try to sue somebody like a president or a senator or whatever, right, someone who's working in the capacity in the United States government, in their official capacity, what happens is that you don't actually sue them, you sue the government. And especially when it comes to the president, what they'll do is they'll say, okay, well, the president was working in the capacity, the official capacity of being the president, and so then they get substituted instead of Donald Trump, for example, right? And then, since you're not allowed to sue the government for working in their official capacity like that, the case gets dropped automatically. And so that's what happened when E. Jean Carroll tried to sue the first time. And now there's a judge looking at it, which is the exact same judge that is in this case, saying, hey, is it really part of Donald Trump's official capacity as president to defame somebody that he raped 30 years ago? And the judge is likely about to say no, in which case we get to go through this whole thing all over again, and E.G. Carroll gets another $5 million. That's probably what's going to happen again. I really hope that happens because it hurts Donald Trump, because fuck Donald Trump. He deserves it. So, but we'll see. We'll most likely be seeing round 2 of this story in the news sometime soon. And then we get to watch all of the idiotic chuds fall all over themselves and gnash their teeth when Donald Trump loses again. I don't know, I hope so. Another teeny weeny little story that happened last week. So Tucker Carlson is moving to Twitter. Good. Fuck Tucker Carlson. He's moving to Twitter. That means that no one's going to watch his ass. Right? So here's the thing, right? So all of these like sort of rip-off Twitter sites popped up after like Twitter started kicking all of the Nazis and shit and like white supremacists and all those people off of their site a couple years ago, you know, kicking off all the Trump, especially when Trump got banned. Then it went like totally nuts. And all of these sort of right-wing Twitter rip-off sites started popping up. Getter, Parler, even Donald Trump made one, you know, Truth Social, stuff like that. And that's where all of the idiotic fucking racist trolls and chuds and stuff have been going for the last couple years. Well, now, since Musk took over and unbanned all of those people and welcomed all of the white supremacist pieces of shit back with open arms, now it looks like Twitter is like pretty much indistinguishable from any of its right-wing competition. So if you go to Twitter and you look at the For You section, it's all right-wing trolls. It's every single right-wing troll asshole that you can think of. You know, Cat Turd and fucking Marjorie Taylor Greene, right? And all of these, like, there's another one called End Wokeness, like, just the worst fucking people on earth. And Elon Musk is, like, amplifying these assholes so that they're in your, like, if you have, like, any, even the slightest passing interest in politics, then they're in your, like, suggestions. And you can't fucking get rid of them. You have to go through and, like, block them all. And that doesn't even fucking work. I know it because I've been trying to block fucking Elon Musk, right? Because I don't want to hear from this motherfucker. I've blocked him, and it keeps putting his ass in there anyway. So it's like Twitter is all fucking broken and fucked up anyway. Barely works. So here's the thing, right? That has a way of artificially boosting these people. So they're getting more views than people are actually interested in. So I'm sure it looks great for their view count and all that, because they tweet something and it gets 500,000 views. Well, it's the same 500,000 views every time. Well, that's great and all when you have a Twitter account, but what does that translate into when you have a TV show? like Tucker Carlson. Tucker Carlson just came from a major network where he would get between 2 to 5 million views every single night. Every night, this guy would go on, do a TV show, and he would get like minimum 2 million people watching. Most of the time, it'd be even higher than that, right? 2 million. I mean, this is actually way down from where it used to be. Like, it used to be that Fox would get Fox would get like fucking 30 million viewers a night and shit like that. And it's like way back in the day, like Bill O'Reilly and stuff used to get like 30 million views. But still, 2 to 5 million views is a shitload of people, right? Well, now he's gonna go put on a show on Twitter, and he's gonna get 500,000. It's so what does that actually mean, right? Well, it means that his actual reach is far, far diminished from what it was. So this is why it doesn't bother me. It's like, oh, he's going to Twitter, everybody's shitting their pants. No, his influence has been super diminished. Super diminished. I mean, seriously, I'm pretty sure he'll get a large number of people for a podcast that goes on Twitter, right? Or a video cast or whatever the fuck you call that. I don't know. Video, like a show that's broadcast on Twitter. I'm sure it'll be huge, but it won't even be anywhere close to where it used to be. The Fox News numbers, those days are gone. The days of Tucker Carlson being like a major influence on the American discourse, that's gone. Right? So Twitter ain't gonna be able to save his ass. So I don't know, they must have offered him a shitload of money if he's willing to go to Twitter. Or maybe he just wants the ability to say whatever he wants. I don't know. Maybe because somebody like Tucker Carlson is already rich. Maybe he doesn't need all the money. Maybe he'd rather be able to go on and like that way he could badmouth all the people he wants to badmouth and nobody can fucking say shit to him. Maybe that's it. But the end result is less people are going to watch him, and I can safely ignore his ass because fuck Tucker Carlson. Here's a story that I wanted to show you guys. I wanted to comment on. Let me just move this down here. Open up my laptop. Turn this guy on. This is a story I saw the other day. AI chatbot to replace human order takers at Wendys. So, yeah, kind of disturbing there. We all knew that this was coming. Eventually, we knew this was coming. In fact, that was the goal for automation. The goal for making robots and AI and all that was to make our lives easier. At least that's what they told us, right? The real goal was so that companies and corporations and stuff can just buy a robot and lay people off, right? And, we were assured, oh, that's not going to happen, blah, 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 blah. Yes, it is. Yes, it is, and it's already happening, right? And here's the thing, right? There is a potential for AI and robots and that kind of thing. There is a place for them, I think. We could use them, for example, to do very dangerous jobs that people shouldn't be doing. Being like a nuclear technician at Chernobyl or something like that, right? Like, rescue firefighters, that kind of thing. They already have like droids that go in and disarm bombs or whatever, stuff like that. So if there's a bomb scare, it blows up the droid and all the police are fine. That kind of thing. And now, but what we're starting to see now is that it's replacing the lowest paid rung. And that was the idea to begin with all along. I mean, if you think about it, the highest cost that a restaurant has is labor, right? Everything else you can control. You can cut costs here, there. You can get your tomatoes at a seller that sells them cheaper to you, for example. You can get your paper products at a discount if you go to a different guy, stuff like that. Labor, not so much. Labor, there's a minimum wage that you have to pay everybody, and you need to have people there for a certain amount of time during certain hours, or else you don't make any money, right? So there's no way to actually cut labor costs beyond a certain point. Well, now AI is going to allow restaurants and retail businesses to do that. We're already kind of seeing it. If you look, there's a Michael's by my house because I do art stuff. And I go there sometimes to get things like Mod Podge and shit like that, right? And I remember less than 6 months ago, there were 4 checkouts. And they had one little self-checkout thing, right? And now, if you go into that Michael's, there's 3 self-checkouts and one and one normal one with a checker. So basically, that means they get to lay off 3 people, and they could do the same amount of labor that they had before with 4 people with one. And it's like, well, this is just what happens when you automate things, right? But this is going to be a major problem coming soon. I mean, do you think it's going to stop with Wendy's? Like, no, it's going to be every fast food restaurant. So there goes one guy's job. One guy that used to sit there at the window, take your order, and give you the food. Now there's an AI chatbot that's sitting there. And keep in mind, the AI chatbot is going to be just as bad as a normal person. You know, you're going to drive up and you're going to say, yeah, I want a cheeseburger, fries, and a large orange drink, and it's going to get it wrong, just like a normal person would. Should we be even rereading this article? I don't know. Basically, blah, blah, blah. Wendy's wants to partner with Google, blah, blah, blah. They're going to try it out in Ohio. You know, the robot will be very conversational, blah, blah, blah. Customers won't realize they aren't talking to a human, whatever. You get the idea, right? Let's turn this shit off. But this is what's happening, folks. It's taking away the smaller jobs, right? And it's going to take away the smaller jobs first. So these are the jobs that people with no skills can easily get. All right, that's the thing. That's the reason why these jobs pay minimum wage. By the way, everybody complains and stuff. These jobs pay so little. The reason they pay so little is because anybody can do them. Because you don't have to go to school to learn how to work at Wendy's or McDonald's or Taco Bell or Starbucks even. I mean, that's the one. I worked at Starbucks. I know all about this shit. I spent plenty of years myself wearing a paper hat and cleaning toilets too and jockeying a cash register. So I'm right up with you guys. I know exactly how this shit feels, right? They're shitty jobs, but somebody has to do them. Well, now they're going to get robots to do them. So, and you go, well, great, that's awesome. Well, yeah, but now where are people going to get jobs at? That's the thing about these shitty jobs is that they're a dime a dozen. If you lose one, you can go get another one. They're essentially the same. Working at Taco Bell is the same thing as working at Wendy's, as working at Starbucks. It's all this. It's all the same shit. Anybody can do it, and that's what's good about them is that anybody can do them. Is that they're a job that anybody can get. So a lot of teenagers, for example, that'll be their first job experience. McDonald's actually gives more people their first job experience than the United States military. Like that's what it used to be for years and years. It used to be the military would give they had the number one when it came to giving people their first job experience. Like their very first job would be in the army because kids would get out of high school and go enlist in the army, right? Not anymore. Now kids get out of high school and they get a job at McDonald's, right? That's just the natural progression of what's been going on for the last 50 years. Well, now all those jobs are going to be gone. So what is this going to do? It's going to do two things, right? First off, it's going to drive down wages because people will be desperate to get jobs, so they'll work for less, right? And that's completely intentional. Keep that in mind. 100% intentional. Secondly, it's going to basically result in more homelessness because there are certain people that these are the only jobs they can get for whatever reason, whether you have a criminal record, whether you just, never got any sufficient experience doing anything else, whether for whatever reason. This is just happens. Everybody's seen and knows a guy in his 50s or something and working at Taco Bell. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with working in a place like that. If that's what you do and this is what you like, and if it helps you and provides for what you need, I mean, fuck it, why not? What's wrong with working in a restaurant, right? Some restaurants are actually pretty good jobs. When you work in a high quality place with good clientele and a decent wage, and you get tips, stuff like that, working at a waiting tables, something, that kind of thing, you can actually make a decent amount of money. Some restaurants, like really nice restaurants, you can make six figures, right? I'm not even kidding. You could make like the maitre d' of a really nice restaurant could make more than $100,000. I mean, but we're talking about fast food here, though. But still, that's the point, I mean, there are people also who started in fast food and then went on to work for the company that they work for. Like they went on to become a manager or a district manager and then went on to work in corporate. That's a thing too. It is a career path that, I mean, granted, not a lot of people take, but it is a career path, and this is going to be another barrier to that. So I don't know. It's kind of that's the thing is that I don't think there will be a lot of resistance to this at all. I don't think there's going to be a lot of resistance to it, and I think that a lot of people just won't give a shit because these are crappy jobs, and a lot of people just don't care about the people that work these types of jobs. They just don't care about them, right? So you're not going to see much. But the other thing is that, well, it's only a matter of time before the AI hits the jobs that are not so crappy. We're already seeing Chat GP, GPT or whatever. We're already seeing it doing kids' homework, right? There was a video, like I said last week in the last stream, I saw a video of a guy who used it to create a video game for him. Like he just asked it, hey, I want to make a game, what do I do? And it like wrote all the JavaScript for him and stuff like that, and he just copied and pasted it into like Unity and had a fucking working video game. It's like, so it's only a matter of time before Chat GPT can do the skilled labor too, where you get things like programmers and stuff start losing their job to AI. That's coming. It might take another 10 years or 15 years, probably close to 10 years the way that this stuff is progressing. But that's coming too. So if you think that you're immune to this, the coming AI apocalypse, if you think that you're immune to it, you think that your job's going to be fine, it's like, sorry, dude, it's not. Right? What happens when that comes around? When you can't even, not only can you not get a job bussing tables or driving an Uber, but then you can't even get a job being a programmer or being a content writer. BuzzFeed, for example, says it uses AI in its articles, right? Of course, BuzzFeed is going out of business, but still. So how long before it's like not only can it make a website for you, but then it creates the content for your website too? This shit is happening. It's happening, and it's coming sooner than you think. And I don't even know what the solution would be to this. I mean, there are two solutions. The first solution to this is to just pass a law saying you have to hire human beings. That's the first solution. That's not going to happen, right? But that is one. You could say, okay, well, if you run an Uber company or a taxi company, or if you run a restaurant, then you have to say something like 80% of your staff must be human or something like that, right? That's one way to get around this. The other way to get around it is to just tax these corporations and provide a UBI. And I don't see that happening anytime soon either. I think that's going to be the eventual solution. I think that's eventually what's going to have to happen, because there is no turning back. Like once this stuff gets out there, there's no turning back. There's no way to outlaw it. It'll just happen. And I think eventually we're just going to have to like take the profits that these companies make and provide a livable wage, a UBI for everyone, so that we don't have millions and millions and millions of homeless people who just can't get jobs because there's no jobs anymore. I really don't see that happening within my lifetime. I think most likely what's going to happen is that nothing will happen. That's what I think will happen. I think there will be no regulation at all. There will be nothing, and we will just have huge portions of the populace who are just permanently unemployed. And I think that the rich people and the conservatives and stuff in this country will just simply not give a shit and will just use the police to crack down on people. I think that's really what's going to end up happening. So I don't know. Hope not. Hope we eventually do get some kind of UBI, because I don't really see how you can sustain capitalism at the way that they want it without having customers. Because if you don't have people employed, and then those people don't have money, so those people can't buy your goods and services in the first place. So it's at some point, it's like you actually need people to make money somehow. Right? So we'll see. This is going to be a question for future generations to tackle. I will most likely be gone or too old before this becomes a serious problem. So we'll see what happens. Hello folks, if you like what I do and you want to support the channel, please consider buying something from my Etsy shop, supporting me on Patreon, liking and subscribing, and checking me out across my social media links listed below. Thank you all so much, and see you next time.